day to you all. Today I am on a roll. I am like sitting down, hunkering down and filming a ton of videos for you guys. I hope that you will enjoy them. Today we're going to chat about my November TBR, everything I want to read in the month of November. We're going to start by talking about the two books that I am currently reading that will bring me over into November, because there's no chance that I'll finish them by the end of October. The first book I want to talk to you about is something I'm listening to on audio. I just started it. It's called Angus War. I believe this is nonfiction about a little girl who grew up in Germany as the Nazis were rising into power. I think her father was a journalist who was against the Nazis. I don't know obviously what happened to her father in the midst of this, but it's about her experience as a child in the midst of this war in Germany. I don't believe she's Jewish either, so it's a different perspective that I haven't really read. So I am reading that right now. It's very interesting, really good on audio so far. And then I am currently reading in physical form the Hacienda. I only have the little paperback cover thing here because the book is downstairs. I'm actually filming myself as I'm reading this, so I'm vlogging my way through it, something that I've been enjoying a lot. I did the same with reading Salem's Lot, and like, yes, I read my books, but I also like chat about life and cook things and show Nora more, and it's just been really quite nice to be vlogging again. So the Hacienda is about a woman who is quite young. She's living in the 1800s, just after the Mexican government was overthrown. Her father was a part of that government or somehow involved in that government that was overthrown. And after his death, she is very much unsure about her standing within the society. She decides to marry a man who is kind of rising the ranks in this new government. She marries him and moves with him to his home outside of her little town or city that she's used to. And she moves to the Hacienda, and she enters the house, and as soon as she does, she realizes that the house itself, there's something strange about the house itself. She's greeted by servants who seem to be suspicious or uncomfortable around her. And there's also his sister. This man that she married has a sister who's an adult that still lives there, and she did not know that she still lived there. So that's a bit awkward as well. I'm reading this because of Reagan over at Prue's Project. She read this recently and loved it. And the way she talked about it and went on and on, I just knew I had to pick it up pronto. So I'm reading that. Now I have like a huge stack of books. Will I get to them all in November? I don't know. Maybe I will. I'm pretty excited about them, so fingers crossed. So the next book is Kate Atkinson's new one, Shrines of Gaiety. This takes place in 1926. The Great War is over and London is emerging. However, there is a like dark underbelly also emerging at this time of like nightclubs and gangsters, and we follow the notorious queen of this glittering world called Nellie. She is ruthless, but also ambitious to have her 6 children rise through the ranks of this little world. And of course, she is successful, but has quite a few enemies, and it follows her and I think one of her children. It sounds fantastic. I love Kate's writing. I also adore this cover. It's just beautiful. So I would really like to read that sometime this month. Another book that I'd really like to read, particularly because I think there is an adaptation coming out, if not now, fairly soon. This is Women Talking by Miriam Toews. I think one of you guys told me that I was calling it Toes, but it's actually Toews. I hope that I have that right now. This follows a small Mennonite community. We follow a group of women who are getting together, I think in the barn, and it's 2009, and they're all getting together because there are men entering their homes and attacking the women at night while they're sleeping. It, I think, is very clear that it's one or several of the men in their community. And we follow them talking about their experience. And also we follow August Epp, who sits alone in the hayloft of a barn, anxiously bent over with his notebook. I think he's writing what they're saying and bringing the information back to the men. It sounds disturbing, but also really good. So women talking, I'd love to read. Another one that is also historical fiction, tons of historical fiction, I'm just in the mood for that, is The Animals at Lockwood Manor by Jane Healy. This takes place during World War II, and we follow 39-year-old Hetty Cartwright, who has come to Lockwood Manor to bring all sorts of specimens from the Natural History Museum collection. She's taken all of that out of London, or as much of it as she possibly can. She's trying to bring it to the countryside to preserve as much as possible from the bombs, which are dropping in London as we speak, or as she speaks in her time. So she gets there, and then she realizes that Lockwood Manor might not be as safe as she thought. There are strange things going on at night, like things moving around. I think some of her artifacts are moving around. And she also meets Lucy Lockwood, who is the daughter of this manor, who suffers from major anxiety. And she has an interesting story of her own and acts quite strange, I think. So Hetty is dealing with that as well. It sounds like the perfect transition. Like, so does the Hacienda. They both have this, like, obviously historical fiction, but gothic-y vibe that I'm not really willing to just move from all of my horror stuff to historical fiction quite yet. So, like, they're kind of perfect for this time of year. So I want to read that. And then 2 more books, and then I'm done, I promise. The next one is The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. This is her new book. I'm so excited to read this. It takes place in Florence in the 1550s, and we meet quite a young woman who might actually be a girl. Her older sister is all set up to be married off to a duke. Everyone in the family is thrilled until the sister dies unexpectedly. And our main character, Lucrezia, she suddenly is thrown into the limelight. Her parents decide that she should marry this duke now. And so she does, and she moves into the court and feels very unwelcome in the court, and also recognizes that she has to quickly get pregnant so she can, feel secure in her new position as this man's wife. And in this setting, it sounds kind of like Marie Antoinette and what Marie Antoinette went through, but also kind of like what many, many women went through at that time. And the last book that I would like to read in November, will I do all of these? I don't know. If I'm very focused, maybe I'll do it. Last one is Our Missing Hearts by Celeste Ng. This is her new book. It's quite dystopian in nature. I don't know what time period it's set in, but it takes place in America. And we follow Bird, who is, I think, 12 years old. And he lives with his father. His mother was an Chinese American poet who left the family when Bird was young. And America is going through this weird time that really could happen. In any case, it's going through this time where they're trying to preserve American culture. So anything outside of what they believe is American culture is shunned. Some of it is outlawed. And so Bert has gone through his whole life kind of disavowing and distancing himself from his mother. And then a picture comes in the mail. I think it's like a drawing or something comes in the mail. And that sets him off. I don't know how, but it sets him off into learning about his mother and connecting with his culture. And it just sounds wonderful and beautiful. So I would love to read this as well. And those are all of the books that I want to read in November. Please let me know in the comments below, what are you planning to read for November? Do you also read historical fiction? There is something about November 11th, Remembrance Day here in Canada, that really makes me want to pick up historical fiction. Yeah, am I alone in that? I'd love to know. And I will talk with you very soon. Okay, bye guys.